Ladies and gentlemen, the Montreal Canadiens just did that. After a pretty rough stretch for the team, and don't get me wrong, they are still in somewhat of a rough stretch, 4-3-3 in their last 10, the Montreal Canadiens finally take their hand and put a stamp on the playoff race. They defeat the reigning, defending Stanley Cup champions in the Florida Panthers 4-2 in a slobber knocker of a game where Sammy Montembeault gets his revenge on his former team. Getting his revenge twice in the span of multiple weeks, because just 15 days ago we saw Montreal beat Florida again. It's too bad that the Canadiens don't really have a chance to play Florida in the first round of the Stanley Cup playoffs, but still, we know that if they did, they may have Florida's number, just with the way these games have been going. But last time it was 3-1, this time it was 4-2. There were a number of things that we had learned from this hockey game, and I think the biggest one is that in order for the Montreal Canadiens to have success, in order for these guys to really showcase that they have what it takes to be victorious, the big guys need to go out there and show what they can do. I get it. It's great to have depth scoring from guys like Yoel Armia. It's great to have Jake Evans and Gallagher and Anderson all show up in there. Some of these guys, of course, have been hotter than others. However, when it comes to the guys you need to see do their part and be the guys to carry it forward, they do that, the Habs generally have a good time. Nick Suzuki, Cole Caulfield, Juraj Slafkovsky. Heck, Caulfield didn't even get a point in this game, never mind. But still, Slafkovsky, Suzuki, Hutson, Laine, all showing up to play in big ways today as the Canadiens take the victory. Let's talk about the goals now, shall we? First goal of the game scored by none other than Patrik Laine on the power play, assisted by, guess who? It's Lane Hutson and Nick Suzuki. Suzuki goes down over to Slafkovsky, back to Suzuki at the point. He throws it over for Lane Hutson on a really nice spin around a backhander. Hutson to Laine, one-timer, bang, bang, bang. It's in the back of the net. We've seen that script 100 times over the past few years, and it never gets old. 1-0 Montreal quickly becomes 1-1 after another minute because the Florida Panthers tied it up pretty much on the next shift. Puck gets sent into the Canadian zone, it's taken away, and Reinhart is able to come out in front with a beautiful backhander. You talk about beauty backhand, that's the perk on the NHL video game. That's exactly what that was, a beauty backhand from Sam Reinhart. His 36th goal of the year with the 47th assist of the year from Alexander Barkov. Carter Verhaeghe also got involved there, setting it up 2-1 after the first period. Second period comes, and also on the power play, the Canadiens are able to convert once more. This is the halfway mark of the entire hockey game. It's Lane Hutson manning the puck on the point. He throws it over to Nick Suzuki, who's on the right side. He finds Slafkovsky at the goal line, who comes in towards the goal, chucks it, tries to get across crease to Caulfield, but it doesn't matter. It's in the back of the net anyway. Somehow, some way, might have gone off of Seth Jones, who really knows, but it is in the back of the net there, beating Bob. And Juraj Slafkovsky gets his 17th goal on the year. That Seth Jones, I dropped him in fantasy earlier this week on 7 of my 8 teams because he has been so up and down, inconsistent, and the past little while he hasn't really been producing much. So Seth Jones scores an own goal, and like the tides that be, he ends up getting another one himself. But this time on the Canadiens' net. 5 minutes later, Seth Jones makes it 2-2, also assisted by Barkov, which is great because I have him on one of my more competitive fantasy teams. First round of the playoffs, nonetheless. All my other teams are in a bye week because they were first or second, but the team that has Barkov on it, shining through because Barkov, with a beautiful play, sets up Seth Jones with a drive from the blue line, and he gets it by Montembeault. It's in the back of the net. It's a 2-2 game, and that continues into the third period, but all it takes is 2 minutes. For the same man whose name you've been hearing all day to get on the score sheet, Hutson goes over to Laine with the shot, and the rebound comes out. It's a fiery shift for the Montreal Canadiens, and eventually Lane Hutson sets up Nick Suzuki with a beautiful long-range cross-crease pass. He just kind of lobs it from one side of the rink to the other. And it's Lane Hutson and Juraj Slafkovsky with the assist. Nick Suzuki gets the 3-2 goal. Add on Brendan Gallagher. If there's anybody that's deserved goals, it's Brendan Gallagher, and he gets his 18th on the season on the empty net, assisted by Christian Dvorak. The Montreal Canadiens take this one 4-2. And look, it's a good, solid victory. If you head over to moneypuck.com, you look at the deserve to win-o-meter. Montreal was outchancing Florida for the majority of this game. 60-40 was the metric for Montreal. Even before they got things started with the 1-0 goal, they were already getting some really nice chances. Gallagher had a pretty nice tip-on goal. The Laine goal was a very, very nice shot. And then heading into the second, especially at the start of the third, the Canadiens were just putting the pressure on. You can tell they wanted this game. And ultimately, the star stood tall. That's what you need. And with Cayden on the back end too, stabilizing things defensively, it makes Montembeault's job that much easier, allows him to get that little bit extra confidence in making these saves and having your D in the right position. It's a lot more seamless with Goulet out there. Final notes here, there was a road ole, which was crazy, honestly. I mean, Montreal Canadiens fans living in Florida, that's great to see. A lot of Habs fans are living the good life, I guess you can say. Imagine being down there where the Gators gator and the Craters crater, but ultimately, road ole, nice to see that. Nico Mikkola at the end of the game ended up slap-shotting the puck really high and almost took somebody's head off in the process. I think it was David Savard. What a strange moment in the game, and what a kind of butthurt moment it looked like, too. Another note that I found interesting, this was talked about a little bit on the subreddit. The Montreal Canadiens, with the win here today, they now have surpassed last season's point total in the standings. Montreal has 77 points in 73 games played, the same amount of points that they had last year in 82 games played. Obviously, last year they were bad, and they ended up finishing poorly enough to win the 5th overall pick at the NHL Draft. But this season, Montreal, top 14 team in the draft, or what is it, top 16? Excuse me, yeah, there are 32 teams in the league now, not 30. But ultimately, Montreal takes the win. They beat the Cup champs one more time. Let me know in the comments section, what do you think? Sammy Montembeault stood up to play, and Nick Suzuki came out with a 3-point night. Lane Hutson with another 3 assists as well. Slafkovsky had multiple points. We saw a Laine bomb. A lot of great things happening in this game here. The Habs really need some depth, is what we're starting to learn. Middle of the lineup guys that can consistently produce as well, but still, when the top guys are doing their thing and they're doing it well, everything's looking pretty good. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. I hope you enjoyed this video. 9, and bye.